GOP is weighing the jobless aid cuts as the layoffs surpass 39 million. Reconsideration of jobless aid is fast becoming the focus of the congressional debate over the next virus aid package. After the Senate decided to take a pause on the new pandemic proposals, senators face mounting pressure to act before leaving town for a week-long Memorial Day break. Republicans are staking out plans to phase out the coronavirus-related employment benefits to encourage Americans to go back to work, although it's not clear when there will be jobs to return to. The Senate also began efforts to fast-track an extension of a popular small business lending program. The Republicans in the White House are reaching consensus on the need for redesigning the unemployment benefits so they are not a barrier to getting people back to work. Representative Kevin Brady of Texas, the top Republican on the House Ways and Means Committee, told reporters on a conference call that 45 of the Senate Majority Leader Moscow Mitch huddled at the White House to discuss these issues. The flurry of activity comes after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi pushed a new $3 trillion aid package through the House last week. The Senate under Moscow Mitch says that there's no urgency to act and that senators are expected to reconsider more aid only in June. With the nation's death toll poised to hit 100,000 and layoffs surpassing 39 million, some lawmakers see a failure by Washington to act as unattainable, yet Congress has moved beyond the political consensus reached at the outset of the crisis and is now splitting along familiar party lines. The difference in approach and priorities between the Democrats and Republicans reflects the partisan split that is defining both parties before the 2020 election. At least one Republican, Senator Cory Gardner of Colorado, was trying to prevent the Senate from recessing unless it considered more aid. No votes, however, were taken. Now was the time for the Senate to go home, tweeted Gardner, who was among the most politically endangered GOP senators running for re-election in the fall. Gardner wanted agreement to extend the Small Business Paycheck Protection Program and push for more funds for state and local government facing layoffs. He told reporters he had called 45 to express his concerns. As a result, senators were trying to fast-track a proposal to extend the Paycheck Protection Program's expiration. The proposed fix would double from 8 to 16 weeks the window for business owners absorbing losses because of the COVID-19 pandemic to spend their federally backed loans and still qualify to have them forgiven. The program was established in March under an earlier coronavirus response bill. While the House works remotely, the lights on Senate has the legislative stage to itself, but the chamber that considers itself the world's greatest deliberative body spent May debating almost anything but the pandemic. It confirmed several of 45's executive and judicial nominees, including John Ratcliffe, on Thursday as the Director of National Intelligence. You wouldn't even know that there's a COVID crisis. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer of the New York told ABC News the View, "It's just so wrong." Moscow Mitch argued that his side of the Capitol led passage of the earlier $2 trillion package. Better to assess how that money is being spent, he said, before approving more. He rejected the new $3 trillion package approved by the Democratic-led House last week as a wish list for the Democrats. On Thursday, Moscow Mitch mocked the House for working remotely and voting by proxy while senators en masse show up like other Americans returning to work. The District of Columbia has been under stay-at-home under orders, but Mayor Muriel Bowser said that Thursday the numbers are pointing to the start of a gradual reopening process at the end of May. The self-prescribed People's House has been suspiciously empty of people, said Moscow Mitch. Every one of my Senate colleagues should be proud of how we've helped our nation win this battle. You didn't help anybody, you fucking idiot. Pelosi shot back. We have the heroes bill, she said about the House passed. Pelosi said that the Democrats have the heroes bill, while Moscow Mitch has the zeros bill, meaning that he hasn't approved or passed anything. Unemployment insurance, though, was quickly becoming a new priority for the Republicans staking out the next aid package. Brady had warned that generous benefits with the $600 weekly bonus during the pandemic approved under the earlier aid bill would handcuff workers and discourage them from returning to work. Senator Rand Paul, a Republican from Kentucky, said it was a mistake to make it so high to begin with. It would be a mistake to extend it. Republicans are hopeful that as states open, the economy will improve, lessening the need for more federal funds. The economy won't improve, but at least not right now anyway. But if workers refuse to return to work, they worry companies can't begin to rebound. Brady proposes giving workers a one-time $1,200 bonus to get back to work. That's not enough. He said conversations were happening at the highest level at the White House, but polling shows Americans are concerned. about a second wave of virus as shops and workplaces reopen. A poll by the Associated Press called NORC, Center for Public Affairs Research, found that 83% of Americans are at least somewhat concerned that lifting restrictions in the area will lead to additional infections, with 54% saying that they are very or extremely concerned.